Okay, so this is our back to school roundtable. These are generally member discussion driven, so but we don't have a ton of members in the room at the moment. So I will pull up these, and Kristen, if you want to unmute yourself and just talk, or if you want to enter it into the chat, either way is fine. But I will share my screen, and I'll share some of the prompts in case they spark any questions or discussion for you. So the first thing is basically kind of a how can we help? Basically, are there things that you need help from? What do you need the most? You know, any reminders that you need, or anything, and then anything you would like to share. Basically, I think maybe the most interesting thing for us would be to know kind of what your operations are looking like this fall, and what you know of and can share of your plans or contingency plans or anything like that.
I don't have any questions right now.
Okay.
I do want to try to get my services online better. The website that the high school uses, it's really hard to get to the RSA tab. I'm having the high school office work on that. But I did make a QR code.
Ooh.
And get it linked that way. So I'm hoping to send that out as an email to the kids somehow so they can get online and look at all my books.
Oh, that'll be nice. That's good. So are you in session in person, or?
Yes.
Okay. And are you, here's just a question I've been asked by a couple of other libraries. Just are students coming into the school library to select books, or are you doing kind of a delivery to classrooms sort of model?
My kids are coming into the library.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I was just curious because I have heard of schools doing both, and you know, I've been asked by schools what people should do, and I've had to kind of say, well, you'll probably want to talk to your school district and superintendent about that. But yeah, we've heard both ways.
Yeah. Our junior high is the librarian goes to the classroom with a card.
Okay, yeah, we've heard of a few doing it that way. Excellent. All right, let's see. I'm going to kind of flip through these slides just in case any of them prompt anything. So, you know, basically this one was kind of the what can we help with, you know, if you would be interested in a virtual site visit, we are doing those, or if any of the other teachers, you know, I know you've got several people in your group. So, let's see. Do you have any, I know you have a couple of new ones because we were getting Gmail accounts going. Do you know, has everyone been able to get into those?
I believe so. I haven't heard different.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Okay. So yeah, we've got the how-tos and reminders. I think we've got your end of year and end of semester dates. I think we're good on that. Have you opted back into delivery?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. I know you're one of the ones who's good at contacting us whenever you have a question. So some of these may have already come up and you've just already asked and gotten it resolved, but I will kind of sort of bring them up just in case. Oh, did you get the upgrade installed okay?
Yes, today they did it.
Sweet, sweet. And hopefully everything's been checking out correctly now, and all of that. Awesome. Any reports we can help you with?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right.
Going back, excuse me, going back to the new staff, Kristen, do any of them need cataloger accounts? And if there's staff no longer with the library, I can delete the accounts you no longer need. So just let me know.
I think you have everybody updated. I have Jill and Angie. They're at Mossville.
I'm just making some notes here.
Those are my two newest ones.
Okay, I wasn't sure if anybody new had started this school year or not.
No, not this year.
Okay, well that's good news. Not starting this school year with any new staff this time.
Yeah, there's probably enough on people's plates not to have to either be trained or be training right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Have you figured out your system for quarantining returns and outgoing delivery and all of that fun stuff? Is there, I guess, any questions we can help with on that or anything?
Nope, I'm good. I got my
All right.
cart set up with my Post-it notes that I hold on for 3 days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, all right. Okay. Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like you have your act very together, which is good news. I was hoping that some of the other registrants would attend because part of the value of this is the opportunity for discussion between the library staff.
Yeah.
So I don't know how everyone would like to proceed. We could keep the call open and resume conversation if we have anyone join. We could wrap up here, and I can post this very brief recording in case anyone was thinking, "Oh, I won't go. I'll just look at the recording." But
I'm good.
okay. Well, I imagine that you probably have other things on your agenda, and I know that you know how to reach us if any questions do arise for you. So thank you for coming, though. I apologize that this was maybe a bit, less discussy than we'd hoped.
All right, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you. Hello, Ruth.
Hey, Ruth.
You'll get a lot of individual attention because
Oh no, there's not many people on that.
right. We had Kristen from IVC, but she had just signed off. So do you have any questions for us though?
No, I was planning on just kind of listening to other people's questions.
Is that would be an excellent plan if we had
If we had other people
You
with
know,
questions.
but school libraries, I know y'all are busy and have
Yeah, it's still busy.
yeah,
I mean, that's why I wasn't here right at 2:00.
I understand. Well, we can ask you some questions because
Okay.
I am kind of trying to find out a little bit more because sometimes schools will, call and ask, what are other people doing? So it's helpful to me to at least kind of know sort of what at least some schools' plans are. And if you would, remind me what school you're at.
It's Kewanee High School Library.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, what are your kind of plans for this fall? Are you fully back in session in person, or are you doing a hybrid, or?
Yeah, we're doing hybrid. So
Okay.
kids are split into 2 groups. Well, really 3. I mean, we've got our fully remote learners, and then we have for the kids who are in person, the A day, which is Tuesday, Thursdays, and the B day, which is in person Wednesday, Friday. And then the opposite days are remote.
Okay.
So, and we just started that last week. So we are in our 2nd week officially of hybrid learning.
Okay. How's it going? Have there been any, I don't know, unique challenges from the school library perspective, or?
I still haven't totally, got my program moving. And it's not all due to COVID, but I'm a district librarian, so I'm not solely at this building. I also work at some of the elementary schools in the district. So there's that aspect of it. It's just trying to juggle all these different responsibilities. But as far as the school library, it's kind of been great to have the time without the kids really here to do some of the, we're undertaking a major weeding in biography, which this is my 10th year and I've never done that. So that's awesome. But the flip side of it is that it's not awesome that there's not kids in the library.
Right.
And, maybe that will be worked out as we go along. Because right now everybody's so anxious about the whole social distancing and not allowing people to congregate. And so I'm hopeful that, one of the ideas I already proposed and I haven't heard back was that for kids who are on their remote day, or if they're solely remote learners, like why couldn't they come into the library to make use of the Wi-Fi? The kids who are remote learners who don't have internet at home.
Right.
That makes perfect sense to me, and I don't know if I'm going to get permission to do that. So, but yeah, it's as far as like any kind of, you know, checkout or even programming, that hasn't been that I see some friends out in the hallway, that hasn't been happening at all yet.
Oh, okay.
And I'm still dealing with all the stuff, all the books, all the interlibrary loans left over from the spring.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Yeah,
well,
starts Monday.
You know, as you get into your weeding project, let us know if we can help with any, you know, usage reports or anything like that, or shelf lists, or I was going to say, I was like, I think I've sent her a few things, but I can't remember. But just, you know, keep in touch, or if you want to do any inventory sorts of whatever, let us know, and we'll see what we can do to help. And
yeah, that was awesome that it was so quick. I got it back so quickly because
good.
It was something we could start. So
good. Yeah. But yeah, let's see. Are you kind of the primary person in your library, or do you have other staff there? Do you have anyone new or anyone that needs?
And she's old from what was it, March 13th? It was like 3 days before.
Oh no!
Going to school.
Oh, talk about trial by fire.
And she really needs to be trained up on all aspects of workflows, and especially cataloging. So she signed up already for a few of the online training. So that's really cool. I was very glad to see that.
Okay, good. Are some of the Circ ones or cataloging, or both?
I think mainly the cataloging. I don't remember all the titles, but it was the more, you know, the more the ones that are coming up very quickly.
Right. Yeah, I did it. Well, and I did some school ones this week, but it sounds like without students in, the cataloging may be more of a priority right now. But I will continue doing Circ trainings. Like I'll do a circulation workshop and a holds workshop monthly for the rest of the year. So if you do, you know, if you want to space them out a little bit, those will also be available to her.
Okay, that's good to know. And I mean, you know, she's got enough of the Circ skills that like she's functioning in that aspect. But I'm like, I can't always remember what to train you on. So this would be a great thing, even if we think that you already know enough. So
well, and we can do virtual visits too. So if you do want to, you know, have a time that you can both be online and be on a Zoom call, and we can hire someone from member services or someone from maybe catalog, I don't know, you know, just depending on what you need, can come on and talk you through some stuff if you need some reminders or just general updates, or just want to chat about, you know, how things are working. We can do that as well. So let's see.
One thing I was going to chime in, I know, Ruth, you're busy just getting settled into the new year, but if you have a chance that you want to start working with your staff member sooner than the September 15th cataloging workshop, if you want to start to show her some things, just send a note to our help desk. We'd be happy to create a cataloger account for her. If you wanted to start showing her some things on your end. But again, I know you've got a lot going on trying to just get settled. So if it's better to wait until the workshop, that's okay too. But I wanted to offer.
So that could be like just a trial account. Is that what you're saying? Like a practice account?
I don't know. Let me look and see. I don't know if when you access workflows, do you log in with the tech account? Is that how you do it? Okay. We've started to give libraries, especially if they participate in training, we've started to give libraries individually named cataloger accounts. And I know that would happen with your staff member that does training here in the next month. trying to think the best way to handle this. I hate to open a can of worms with a new account,
right.
because there's not really anything wrong with your tech account, but I just know your staff member will get a named account after she does training, since we're starting to issue those. So
Okay, so that's what you were referring to.
yeah, I think for now, let's just have you keep using the tech account. And if you have time to show her what to do, that would be fine to use the tech account.
Okay, good to know.
Everything's so confusing, I feel like sometimes.
That's true. Let's see. So it's virtual site visit. I don't know. I'm just kind of flipping through my prompts just in case something
I started
occurs
look
to me
too.
that would be a good discussion topic. Oh, do we get? I think we got your end of semester and end of year stuff in.
Yes, I did turn those
Awesome.
in as well. And I've also let help desk know about delivery service, the no contact. I've got that
Okay.
figured out.
Good. Good.
So yeah, I'm good on that end. So
Awesome.
right. I'm trying to be more
I know.
awesome. All these books
No,
left
that's
over
great.
from the spring.
Yeah. That'll be probably a load off a fair amount of schools' minds when delivery does start coming back to schools to get the stuff that's been sitting there probably since sometime this summer out of their hair and
Exactly.
all of that.
I know how to check for my latest version number. I'm looking on this side. But does it, the latest version released yesterday. Okay.
Yes.
So it's not going to automatically prompt me to upgrade. Do I have other steps to follow?
There was an email that went, when did that go out? Sorry, I've got my windows all confused here. Let's see, let me move that to a different screen and find the one about the upgrade. That's not the window I wanted. Let me open up MailChimp.
I'll try to look for it too. There's been a lot coming in, so I know it's easy.
There we go.
I feel like you have to install it. I don't feel
Yeah.
like the prompt is the way to do it.
Yeah, there's actually a thing. So I'm gonna pull up. There we go. Let me pull this up, and I will. All right. Let me move this onto the screen that I'm sharing. Are you seeing that blue email?
Yeah.
Okay, so this would have been the email. Do you remember seeing that, or would you like me to forward a copy to you?
Go ahead and forward it to me. I kind of wonder if I just forgot to check my RSA email.
It's possible. This would have come Friday afternoon, I believe, was when this was sent. But I'll forward it to you so you get it kind of at the top of your inbox. So what's the if you could let me look you up in L2 and just make sure I've got the right thing, because I don't want to make you read your email address often, a meeting that's being recorded. Find the colleagues here. Okay, yeah, the KCUD 229 address. Yes. Okay, cool. Exactly. Okay, I will send that to that one then. And
beautiful.
Awesome. All right. Let me find that in my email, but I'll send you that, and that has kind of the links and instructions and all of that. And if you run into any problems, give us a call or send an email to the help desk. James has been busy helping libraries get up to date on all of that. So
awesome.
He will be able to assist. Let me turn off my screen share briefly while I pull up my email.
It does say in there not to click the yes prompt on the upgrade box because it says it may break workflows on your computer. So there's the answer to that. So it sounds like pick no, and then there's some installation links in the email that Anna's forwarding you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know in the past, sometimes it's been okay to click yes and sometimes it's not. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
it really just depends, I think, on the particular update.
Okay, so I'm just sending this to you as a forwarded message. Hopefully that doesn't, I know sometimes email security things don't like forwards, but so hopefully that will go through. But if you don't see something from me, and sometimes our email security makes things a little slow. So if you don't see something from me in a half hour or so, let me know and I'll try again.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
but that should have,
That's very helpful. That was
well, good.
the price of the ticket.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah. Let's see. Let me just turn that back on, just in case we find something else helpful. Let's see. Oh, I don't know if you have run into this, but if you do start cataloging, you may want to double check your cataloging library. When we were doing mass closures and stuff, we realized that we couldn't make kind of group changes to libraries because, so we ended up adding our library, AG, ALS, to kind of everyone so we could, change things if we needed to. So if you, but because of this, and because of it, our library starting with an A, it kind of ended up setting us to the default cataloging library. So if you do notice that, there are instructions available of how to fix that. So let us know if you run into any problems like that.
Okay.
And same thing kind of after you update, if you notice that like your configuration settings didn't, you know, do correctly or anything, or you need any help getting your preferences right. Or I know sometimes with schools, the IT department will come in and do things to your computers over the summer, and schools will, have trouble getting receipts set, the way they like them, or getting all the defaults, kind of to default to the things you want. So if you need any help, with any of that sort of thing, just let us know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, you should be okay on checkouts and everything, because I think we've got everything up to date. But
Okay, wonderful.
I think, but if you do notice anything acting weird, anything that's not checking out for the time period it's supposed to be, or anything, let us know. Or if you need, I don't know, with your situation, if you want like a reminder or refresher course on how to use like the modified due date wizard, if you're trying to adjust things to be on the right schedule for that group of students with the with the hybrid model. If you need any help or reminders on any of that, just let us know. And like I said, we'd be happy to do kind of a virtual site visit and refresher on that if we need to.
Okay.
One thing I noticed, Ruth, I'm looking at our membership list and I see that you only allow holds to other school libraries. I know we've been trying to encourage schools to allow holds to public libraries. We certainly aren't going to push you into a decision today, but do you know?
That would be fine with me. Is that something that you can change on your end? That would be acceptable to share our materials with public libraries.
Well, and the advantage would be then your students could borrow from public libraries is the big advantage of that.
Oh,
so a big, big expansion to your collection. So we could, I've got an email open to you that was one I opened by accident. So what I could do is I could send an email both to you and to James about,
let him know.
That, and, that way he can get in touch with you if he has any questions about, adjustments to the hold map for that. Does that sound like a reasonable way to proceed?
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Thanks for allowing that, Ruth. I know sometimes you may need to check with an administrator, but that's great though. You can go ahead and do it because like Anna said, we're really trying to expand resource sharing. And I know when holds were initially set up when they first moved to this system, I think but the default was schools just loaned to schools, but we've been trying to open things up. So that's great. You're willing to
I wasn't aware
move
of that.
forward.
Yeah, glad you mentioned it.
Oh,
sure.
Good.
As I'm going through here, I think I knew this, but forgot that RSA is able to batch load new students for me and batch remove former students. So is that just a matter of, like for the new students, is it just providing you with like a a spreadsheet of their information?
Where's James?
I know there's a specific format and specific fields he needs. Yeah, see if he can jump on and join us.
Yeah, James would send you a spreadsheet that has various various columns on the spreadsheet that you need to fill out per student. Then he takes that spreadsheet, does a little bit of magic on it. If it needs to be double checked with you, he would double check it, and then he would load the students.
Cool. And then what about the removing the students? Is that just a matter of knowing like what graduation date or expiration date on the patron's record that then he would?
Yeah, so we have to have some way to identify them in bulk, and then we can remove them. We assume that all of these students have returned their materials and are bill-free. That may or may not be the case. That's something that we would assume you would do prior to us removing them.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, and we're like right at the cusp. I guess it depends on how busy or not busy things get going forward, because number-wise, we don't have, it's like a class, the graduating class or the incoming freshman class is 125, give or take. So like, it would be kind of nice to have it done, but it's not like an absolute necessity. Like it's a small enough number that we can get around to it. So I'll just file that away.
I think, again, I'm not trying to speak for James, but I think at one point the threshold, the minimum was 100, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because you're right. He doesn't want to do it if it would be easier just for you to do it manually if there's not that many involved. But I think it might be 100, but that's something else we'll check with him on.
Well, and since I hadn't sent the email about hold rules yet, I just jabbered at James to see if he could pop in, but if we don't see him, I'll include that in the email that I'm sending to both you and James about the hold rules, to, maybe get in touch with you about potentially doing some batch loading, batch edits, and things like that. So, oh, there he is. Hi, James. Well, he's still connecting, but.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Hi, James.
Hello.
So this is Ruth from Kiwani School District.
Hold on.
Who has some questions about potentially batch loading or batch editing some.
Sorry, it took a while. Sorry, I couldn't hear the phone call. I was talking with John Fisher and doing their stuff for their school. So evidently he talked to me, and then within 5 minutes he submitted another request. Yeah, so I made sure I helped him out, so it took a little while. So anyway, so what do we have?
So this is Ruth from the Kiwani School District, and she's maybe interested in doing some potentially finding out about doing batch loading either of new students or maybe batch changes of or deletions of other students. So we figured we'd get you into be the official word on what she would need to get to you.
So I know I'll have to verify, and Kendall could probably hear. I know for full online we do basic. It's like if it's 100 or more, we've been doing the batch edits. Just because by time it takes, to get everything ready, sometimes, fewer than 100, I mean, a lot of times they could just knock it out quicker than getting everything ready in batch.
Yeah.
For the schools that I've been doing, like East Peoria High School, Washington High School, Peoria, Notre Dame, things like those, for example, we have about, anywhere from 200 to 400 students that I'm loading at one time. So that definitely helps them out. But yeah, if you have all your students that, let's just say maybe the initial, maybe you don't have, maybe you only have 50 students. I'm just throwing a number out, but maybe there's other things that, it's like, hey, yes, all these students are in, but let's batch change them all to a different user cat or a different group ID or something like that. And clearly it's probably more than 100. And don't hold that number to us. So if, if you're around 80, that's close enough.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to say, oh, sorry, you need 2 more people and we'll do it. Oh, me, Patty was just trying to call me. Hold on.
Oh no. He's an in-demand gentleman.
I see that.
Okay, sorry about that. I jabbered her and let her know that I'm on a call. Or I'm on a Zoom call. So
And I know what you were saying, James. I think I, in past years, considered like a batch upload, and our students, our classes are at about 125. So it's
okay.
almost, it's always kind of that little debate about, well, is it even worth it to do it this way? So what would be required? Kendall was saying that you would send me
Yeah, so I could send you a spreadsheet, and what it has is, and again, I'll send you a spreadsheet with a bunch of different information. You don't have to have, what I'll send you will be in red is mandatory, which of course is the user ID, the profile, of course the library, those are mandatory things that I have to have. But when it comes to address or, group ID, other things like that, that's up to you.
Okay.
Some schools don't put an address in there. Some
Yeah.
schools do, with the, some schools don't put an email address in, which we're trying to encourage everybody to, but if they don't have an email address, then leave those things blank. It's okay.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to put in there. Cause I know, I want to say it's, like Skyward, for instance, is one of the programs, and I don't know what all the
That's what we
schools
use.
use. They can sort of export things for people, and then then they could fill in that spreadsheet a lot easier that way.
Oh,
Then.
okay. All right. Well, then I know who to ask. Here.
Yeah, and I'll have, and if I don't have it, if you could send, unless Anna has your email address.
Well, I'm actually sending an email to both of you because she may also be interested in a change to hold map. So I'll just include, so I'll just email you both, and then you'll have her email address, and I'll just include kind of the note of, if you could share the spreadsheet of the info you'll need, and whatever info you need as far as batch loading and stuff goes. And that way you'll be in touch with each other. So.
Yep, perfect. And they're, like I said, and it's, let's just say the students don't have email access right now. Well, in the past, maybe they do, but in the past, I'll do a batch change because maybe the school now gave them all email addresses. Well, instead of you going into, 300 or 400 of them all, then I could actually just go ahead and modify those for you and enter the email address. So there's things like that. So let's just say if you didn't have it, or if you don't have the graduating year, maybe, it's like, hey, we could give you a report and then you could add the graduating year. Then I could go ahead and add that into it, things like that. So.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
But the general thing, I'll send you a spreadsheet. Like I said, the main thing is the ones in red are mandatory, which you'll notice. I mean, you'd have to put those in anyway. And then other than that, just as fill out as much as you want, whatever's easier for you. So, and again, we tell everybody, and it'll be on it, just so you know, when you do enter it in, please make sure they're all in caps. That was one of the, sometimes it is a pain. I could sort of change it, but it's a pain because I have to take it out of Excel, put it in Word, do a formula where it puts it into uppercase, because we all know in workflows, that was, they need to be in capitalization. So.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, James.
No problem.
Let's see. All right, I'm trying to think. Any other, I guess I've had this slide up for a bit, so I guess if there is any other questions, you'll probably let me know.
Yeah, I feel like that slide is covered.
All right, that's kind of what I was thinking too. All right, let's see. And then we have some cataloging stuff.
Yeah. Mostly just wondering if you need a refresher on how to submit a request if you can't find the matching bibliographic record for your item in workflows.
So I feel like I'm not ready to answer that question yet until I start going through the how to catalog process with my new staff member. So
Sure.
I'll get back to you on that one.
One thing I did do just now, you only have, this is great, you only have one change me.
Oh,
Remember when an item is sent to us and we have the bibliographic record ready, we put that little dummy placeholder for you on it.
uh-huh.
And let me put the title in the text chat. That might be easier. It's My Hero Academia, but
Oh, yeah.
it looks like this was from back in February. So I'm hoping maybe you have that on the shelf or somewhere in the library and you can just finish cataloging it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully in your chat window, there's My Hero Academia, Volume 23, Our Brawl is the
Okay.
name of it. So you just have the one, which is great. I don't see any others.
Yeah, I will pull that and do that correction.
That'd be good. That way, if somebody happens to check it out at some point, it'll be it'll be in there and ready to go versus item not found in catalog since it wasn't finished cataloged.
Right, right.
Yeah, if you need to do a request and could use a refresher, just give our help desk a call, a member of the cataloging team. We'd be happy to walk you through it.
Okay.
Let's see.
And then for this next slide, I did just run a report. I can email it to you after this meeting, Ruth. It looks like you only have 13 items assigned the book new item type, which is great. Sometimes we see hundreds of items assigned the book new item type. You have 13 of them, and it looks like the one that was cataloged the longest ago was in April 2014, and then the most recent one was in February 2018.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking these you could just switch to the book
Yeah.
item type.
Yes.
I don't see holds or anything restricted. Do you restrict holds on new books, or is it mostly just keeping track of new for your own purposes, not the holds?
Right, exactly.
Okay, so it really would be good to change them since they're no longer new, but it's not like it's preventing a hold. So it's not, as I sometimes say, pants on fire, do it right away, but it would still be good just because these technically aren't new. So, okay, I'll make a note to send that to your
Okay.
Kiwani address.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Ooh.
Discarding books.
Oh, yeah.
So the idea there is basically it's like checking out the books to discard user,
Right.
and as a batch, they go from discard to delete.
Exactly. And especially if you're about to start a big weeding project, I will vouch for it. It's a lot easier than, because you just, scan it through the checkout wizard. And the other thing that's kind of nice is since they don't delete instantly, if you realize that something got onto the wrong pile and wasn't one you meant to get rid of, you can, take it back.
So after I scan all the book into the discard account, what's the second step after that? What do I do?
You don't have to do anything. There's a report that'll move everything from the discard user. It runs at the beginning of every month. Right?
Well,
Yeah.
do you have, yes, but do you have, let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah.
Because do you already have a discard, do you have a discard user?
He does, and it looks good. Yeah, you got a discard user set up.
Hey.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's really just a matter of checking the items out to it, and then for a while, like the items, if you look them up, they'll show up as if they're in a like if you look at one specifically, it'll show up as in a location of discard, but you won't see it like if you're searching the catalog, you know, it won't. So like your patrons won't be seeing it thinking they can have it, but if you were to look up that specific record, you'd see it's in a discard location. And then when the report that removes them runs at the beginning of each month, then they get removed from the system. And every now and then there's a few problems, like a library will delete something, will try to discard something that doesn't belong to them, and then you get a phone call from me saying, hey, what were you doing? But other than that, all you have to do is just check them out to that user.
Okay, cool.
So
Okay.
very simple.
Have to be reminded of that.
Yeah.
I'm reading this slide.
Sorry about our phone ringing there. I'm sure you can hear that through the Zoom.
Yeah, that's okay. I did not hear it.
Oh, good.
What does the second question mean? I'm not sure if I'm reading it right.
Yeah, so this is something that we recently, I would say in the past year or so, we've started showing members during training how they can search workflows for a particular code in their collection. So for example, it'd be really easy in your case to do a search of your entire collection in workflows and pull up those 13 books that are assigned the book new item type, and then you wouldn't need the report I send you.
Well, here, Erica, do you want to walk me through it and I can
Sure.
demonstrate?
Let's go to the cataloging module at the top. And then we'll open up call number and item maintenance on the left. And then notice that binoculars with the red X, it's a little pickaxe if you click on that.
Sorry, it opened it up on the wrong screen. Let me put it over here. There we go.
Okay, so notice here you can pick any of these values to do your advanced search by. So in this case, let's go ahead and pick the item type. If we click the drop-down menu, if you pick book new, luckily in your case, Ruth, since your menu's customized, you would just see the codes that are in your menu. We see a lot
all
more
of them.
Anna, since she's logged in differently, but it should be easier to pick book new and then just hit the OK. And then in the general box, in order to get workflows, yeah, good. Anna remembers from our training. Yeah, so
we've been using this a lot. This changed our lives in member
good.
services when we found this out.
Good, yeah. So #0, and then go ahead and pick the KH Kiwanee High School. Yeah. And so notice there we've got 13. So if we, at the bottom part of the screen, there's that call number item, your display view, and notice here we can see, go ahead and maybe hit modify to,
okay,
that might make it a little easier sometimes than the view screen. Yeah, so notice here it's assigned book new is the type, and then on the left we can see date created 2/23/2018. So we definitely want to change this one to just books since it's a couple years old. It's a real handy search though, because remember there's lots of values in that little binocular pickaxe helper that you could search by.
Okay.
Now when you're
I'm sorry, I was going to say I do have to address then each individual title to change the home location.
I think I'll go ahead and send you the report still, because your other option, do you remember the global item modification wizard? That might be the other way. It would be easier.
Oh, I have not used this in a very long time.
It's often forgotten about, so don't feel bad. I feel like it's one thing that we're trying to make sure we cover a little bit better. But what you could do too is from the report I'll email you, you could, like Anna did, set the item type to book, and then you could copy paste the item IDs from the report and change them. So that would work too.
Okay. All right, awesome.
Yeah, the thing I was going to mention, I'll send in the follow-up with the new book report. We have a search guide that has the cataloging code search strategy, and then I'll send you, we now have a cheat sheet too for the global item modification wizard. So I'll send you both of those.
Okay, great.
It's always good to learn new tricks, isn't it? That'll make things easier.
All right. Okay. Well, any other questions or anything you see on the, I think this is my last slide. Yep. Ah,
What's the difficulty in searching a title with not?
Ooh, I'll show you. Let's see. I'll do my usual example. I'm sure Erica. Let me turn my share back on.
It's
I'm sure
tricky because Workflows thinks not is a search operator, so you have to trick
that's what I thought.
Workflows, yeah, into thinking it's not the search operator. So, oh yes,
this is my go-to example. Partially because there are so many.
yeah. So if we just type the title like any other title, what you're doing is you're telling Workflows to search for the word gods,
Oh,
but not the word dead. So you're never going to retrieve that record. So
right.
you can put it in quotation marks, the title, and that tricks Workflows.
Okay.
Or switch to a browse search. Also works.
Or a browse search.
And then if you try to
God.
start with the operator, it gets really confused. Well, not if you browse, but if you ever get like that error message, that's kind of you've probably got an operator
put some
in
quotes around it,
right.
or do a browse.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's another one in the search strategy guide. I'll send
Yeah.
you as well.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. So
yeah, it's one of those things where as soon as you know what's happening, it's like, oh well, yeah, I get that. But if you don't know what's happening, you're just like, why can't I search? So, but
let's see that slide one more.
yeah, let me pull that back up. How many windows do I have open? I like to try to like challenge my computer to. All right.
Oh, I have not heard the policies approved by the RSA users group about pirated items and advanced reader copies. What's up with that?
Yeah, we have had, how do I want to put this? There's been some hard feelings, especially as these type of items go to other libraries to fill holds. That's especially how this problem came about. But the more we looked at it and the board started to talk about it, it really puts not just the library who cataloged them, but RSA as the consortium as a whole, it really puts all of us at risk for having these items, whether they're advanced reader copies or pirated copies. It really puts us at risk because these aren't materials that consumers are supposed to have, let alone libraries checking out.
Okay.
So we did draft formal policies that prohibit these. Do you know, Ruth, do you have advanced reader copies in your collection or pirated items?
I don't believe I do. If I do, it was before my time. I
Right.
just never became aware of it. I can't think of, I mean, if I have, well, have I like received an advanced reader copy at a conference?
You could pick them up there. There are sometimes vendors in the exhibit hall that might be giving them out, or even an author presenting that's maybe giving them out. At one point, I'd had a report. I was trying to look up and see. I can't really think of where I put that, which is that's not good to admit. I'm not sure where I put that, but we were going to be batch removing all of the advanced reader copies from workflows. Usually there's some indication on the item that says it's an advanced reader copy, and then on the record as well in the bibliographic description, there's usually a note or some kind of indicator. And around the time I was actually going to start looking into that and contacting affected libraries about deleting them or removing them on our end if they weren't deleted. That was around the time the pandemic really hit our area hard. So we do need to revisit this.
Yeah.
But that's good though. You don't think you've put any of these in the meantime?
Yeah, if I were to have any, I don't think it would be, I think it'd be an odd copy or two. I don't recall having done it as a practice. So
that's good to hear then. That's good. Yeah, you hopefully then if we do find any, it won't be many to correct. But
yes.
If one does come to fill a hold, just go ahead and, I know it's crummy because you'll have to tell your patron that this item that came for you, unfortunately I can't give it to you, I'll need to get another copy. But that's the case where it may happen coming in for a hold. But we tried to change as many of these as we could so that they couldn't go out to fill holds until we can get them all deleted.
Okay, and as far as identifying it, you're just saying just be aware of if it's like stamped or says anywhere on it, advanced reader copy.
Yeah, do you want to, Anna? I think on the website, I think I put an example in the policy.
I think you did. Let me see if I can.
I'm looking at a list here. I made, it's now over a year old, but I don't see Kewanee High School on here as any advanced reader copies as having any.
Oh, okay, good.
I actually don't see many schools on it. There's just a couple. It's mostly some of the smaller public libraries with, not that your budget's huge, but the ones that have basically non-existent budgets. I know we're putting these in.
Right.
Maybe not there. Let me see. I went for pirated because I was like, well, that's definitely a unique term. Let me try.
Oh, actually, from the homepage, if you go to the
you know where it is.
Yeah, if you go to the RSA homepage and then in the lower left navigation menu, there's the training policy, or there's a policy handbook, I think is what we call it.
Yes, that's right. Okay. And then under cataloging.
Yes, even we know the website's a mess. I know you may be thinking it, Ruth, but we too know it's a mess.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, so.
Do you want to share your screen, Anna?
Oh, I thought I was. Well, maybe I'm sharing the wrong. There we go. Sharing the wrong screen. Okay. Yeah, so this is the policy, but there are some examples that show like where it says like uncorrected proof or advanced reader copy, like a little kind of seal.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right, very good to know.
And then I think the pirated one has, I think that one has some examples too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, those are trickier for us unless they come to us as a cataloging request or they're reported to us as trying to fill a hold. But those are trickier because it's basically just the honor system. If you get these, please don't put them in because it's a liability. But these are harder to spot because the bibliographic description doesn't say pirated or anything obvious like that.
And it's not like the pirated material is going to say, hello, I am an illegal copy,
Right.
They're going to leave that off. So.
Okay. All right, good to know.
All right. Well, we actually used the whole hour.
I know. Who knew I had all these questions? I didn't know.
Well, we appreciate it because it gave us things to discuss, and we did record this. This was recorded, and since I think some of the people who maybe registered but didn't attend were thinking, oh, I'll just watch the recording.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead and post it. So I hope you don't mind.
No.
But I think the discussion will be useful to a lot of libraries. So
Yes, and thank you for being kind when it's like information that I feel I should already know.
No, that's why we're doing these is,
Yeah.
you were, if I may say, I think you were quite on top of things and asking good questions. So we appreciate that. So,
All right. Well,
awesome.
Thank you, Ruth, for joining us.
Yes, we appreciate it. You made our afternoon. But yeah, thank you and continue. You're one who's good about reaching out when you encounter questions as well.
Yeah.
So keep that up though. That sometimes even if you think it's a silly question, sometimes it reminds us that other people will have this question, and we can go ahead and send a listserv post. Plan, figure out what our answer is, and all that kind of stuff. So we appreciate it.
Okay. Awesome.
All right.
Thank
Again,
you. Have a good day.
you too. Thank you for
Ruth.
joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.